I interrupt this Batman series for Man of Steel. Sorry guys, the library did not deliver. I requested Batman The Dark Knight, but it didn't come in time and I didn't want to leave you guys hanging. So today we are reviewing Man of Steel because that one did come in. I thought it was the perfect choice because Batman, DC, also me and my brother lately just reviewed Superman 1978. So I wanted to compare 1978 to 2013. Man of Steel 2013, directed by Zack Snyder, starring Henry Cavill. I feel like I always start off my videos with saying how good the casting is. And this time I feel like Henry Cavill is the only one who really carries this movie. Henry Cavill does play Superman pretty perfectly. I don't fully know how to explain it, but you just know that he's good. Like, he doesn't actually have to say or do much for you to understand the depth of his character. You just feel it. Somehow he just presents it to the audience in a way that no other Superman has really done. Like the 1978 Superman, totally different. They follow similar tracks, but something's just hit harder in the 2013 Superman than the 1978 Superman. The opening on Krypton, in both movies, you understand the depth of the situation, the gravity of it. But obviously in 2013, it's just more presentable because technology. So that's not anything on 1978. I don't think they could have really done much to compare there. But since we have that technology today, the visual aspect was just way better and therefore easier to understand for a wider audience. Now, something that I think 2013 definitely did way better was Superman's progression, Clark Kent's progression. In 2013, he actually had a childhood. Then he kind of drifted around finding odd jobs until he found the ship in the ice, right? And throughout that, his father is teaching him. You see those flashbacks and you understand his fight with wanting to use these powers. And earlier, when the powers were a struggle, they were too much. He had to learn to focus. In the 1978 version, really two things happened. His father died and then he found the ship. And that was it. So like 2013 setup, way better. Now in 1978 and 2013, they do both kind of just become Superman. After I watched the 1978 one, it kind of bugged me that there was just a 10-year lapse where he just becomes Superman. And in the 2013 one, he also just becomes Superman. But I find that now it doesn't bug me as much. And I've realized the reason why it doesn't bug me is because we already know Superman. We don't need to see that part of his progression. We want to understand his character, not how he uses power or how he learns to use his powers. It's kind of a similar path to Tom Holland's Spider-Man. We already knew he was Spider-Man, so they just skipped the whole story of him getting bit by a spider because we already knew all that. We didn't need it. So now both of them I'm perfectly okay with. Now he becomes Superman and then Zod, the bad guy, shows up on Earth. His imprisonment was actually his savior in the end. They threw him in a black hole and then the world got destroyed. So he lived because he was in a black hole and then they got out of it, whatever. So that's how he comes into the story. And then they want to kill Superman because in his DNA is the DNA of his whole race. That's kind of intense. Now, obviously, 2013 is going to blow 1978 out of the water in terms of CGI technology and all that, because the last 45 minutes of this movie were huge. Talking explosions, buildings falling over, huge spaceships, two flying men hitting each other across the earth. But all of that leads to the final moment between him and Zod. Superman has Zod in a headlock. Now, like I said earlier, Superman is the good guy, and he hasn't killed, and he doesn't want to kill. He actually has zero desire to do so. As he's got Zod headlocked there, Zod gets his laser eyes going, and he threatens to kill this family, and he's getting closer and closer. Superman yells, "No, don't do it. You don't have to do this," something along those lines, but he just keeps going. And so in the end, Superman kills Zod. And I didn't think that moment would hit me so hard, but actually it was built up really well, because in that moment you remember his whole backstory, his whole childhood, his father's teachings, everything. He always held back. He didn't want to hurt or kill anyone. Obviously he made the right choice, but also you could see how much it hurt him. He screams in the end a big loud no, because obviously he didn't want to do that. He was forced into it. And I was just surprised to have shivers. I didn't think it would hit me that hard, but actually it was really well done. Something people keep telling me about Superman that they don't like is that he's not relatable or whatever, but actually I find myself thinking that's a good thing. I don't think Superman is supposed to be relatable. He's supposed to be pretty much the epitome of perfection. He's Superman. We're not supposed to relate to him. We're supposed to look up to him. He's supposed to be a symbol of hope, right? And I think they did that really well. Obviously, there's his struggle throughout his childhood, but once he becomes an adult, it's pretty straightforward from there. He knows what he has to do, and he does it. He accomplishes it. Zack Snyder doesn't go out of his way to create this deep complex within Superman. He just focuses on the roots of Superman. He's a flying, invincible dude who we look up to as a symbol of hope. So I think the movie did its job. It's not super amazing. It's not trying to be Interstellar. It's trying to just be its own simple movie. Therefore, I think it's a good, fun, family-friendly movie that you can watch with your kids or friends and have someone in a movie to actually look up to. I've met a few others who completely disagree with me about this movie, but you let me know what you think. Did you like it? Did you hate it? Put it in the comments below, and get ready for me to review Batman: The Dark Knight. So as always, let's bolt.